Stand up. What's going on? Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, joined by my co-host Brian Gallagher. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Happy to be back. Afternoon game.
I missed
good
you,
start.
man. Maybe it's whenever you don't travel. I'm trying to think of like rhymes and reasons for wins and losses. I was gonna say, because Brian doesn't travel, but first game we won, you didn't travel, so I don't know. I missed you too, man. I'm glad you're here.
There's no, I see no correlation for wins or losses if I'm there or not. That's what I was hoping. You know, I hope my presence brings a win, but it hasn't.
It has not. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get you guys ready for this game. Hey, let me also give this shout out right here. Mikey Lopez, what's up to you? I just met you along with Mrs. Lopez. Thank you so much for stopping. Taking the time out your day to say hello. Really appreciate it. It means a lot to Brian and I, guys and girls that watch this channel and support us, independent media, 100% supported by you guys. So thank you very, very much, Mikey Lopez. Great meeting you, Chris. Great content you always put out. We appreciate you and your crew. Hope to meet you again in the near future. As always, keep pounding. So he patiently waited. I appreciate him doing so.
Yeah, he did. He was waiting. He was waiting to get a word in. It was awesome seeing him.
You should have photobomb us. Did you photobomb us?
Oh, I didn't know you guys took a photo.
Yeah. We
I was looking over our script. No, I didn't know that.
Hey, let us know how well you can hear us, by the way. We think we're pretty good, but if you guys have any questions about the audio, let us know. So we got a full show lined up for you today. At any point here, our guest, Rashad, one half of Panther Nation podcast, should be joining us. But hey, as always, we go live for the reason of interacting with you guys. So let's go ahead and get busy in those comments. Let us know what questions that you may have, as well as hit the like button, subscribe, help us continue to grow. The bigger we grow, the more that we can do and cover this team with you all, having coaches and players on the show. And you remember what our question of the day is each game?
No.
He's like, huh? What?
You also have a story to share with us. I heard.
Oh, yeah.
He does.
I'm gonna.
He was teasing a story for you guys, and I hear it's a good one.
It's a good one.
All right.
I'm gonna try to wait till Rashad comes up. But here's the question of the day. Let us know, and also we love to hear where you all are from. So score predictions. You can do one. You can do both. Score predictions and let us know where you guys are from would be great. So let's go ahead and. Are you ready? Audio is not good for me. James says the audio is good. James, we need more than one person. But all right, someone else said the audio is good. All right. So we'll go. There, you see the light shine on?
Yeah, I'm bright. I'm a bright fella. My complexion does not work well with the lights.
Let's go ahead and let me get into my notes here so we can go ahead and start to go through this show.
4:25 p.m. kickoff.
Yeah.
Got to sleep in today, Chris.
You got
actually, I got to. I don't know about you. You're a dad,
no.
I got a little bit extra sleep.
I'm glad you pointed out. Dads don't get a chance to sleep in. Entrepreneurs don't get a chance to sleep in. I got up at. It was later than usual, but it was 9 o'clock.
Okay.
I had to get up today and immediately started getting up to prep ready for the show. You? What
Terrible.
time did you get up?
9:30, 10. So I mean, I thought you were gonna be up a little bit earlier than me, honestly. So we're not that different.
We're
not.
Woke
up at 9:30.
we're not that different. So we're gonna start with a look back at the week. All right. Dave Canales early this week touched on today's matchup: Carolina Panthers, Atlanta Falcons. 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be your kickoff. So we're gonna go ahead and share with you Dave Canales on. Oh, let's let you guys hear that. That is what they play once the gates can open. I'm going to change the audio for a second. Let's see if I can help you hear this just a little bit easier. Maybe not. Let's see. Can you guys hear it?
Let us know, chat.
Oh, now I got to change the audio back. All right, so hopefully you can hear that. They play a really cool horn or siren at the beginning of the game when they open up the gates for fans to go in. So now behind us, we're going to actually step to the side just a little bit for a second so you guys can see the current crowd. Brian did not step to the side enough. There he goes. So now you can see that everybody is now going into the game to watch this matchup, Carolina Panthers, Atlanta Falcons, a divisional matchup. One that we're going to dive into here a bit in just a second. But all right, let's go ahead and get into it. This week, we can start with our look back at the week as Dave Canales talked about the Falcons matchup and what he sees in the Falcons team.
Yeah, just a good, solid team, playing team football. Offensively, just Kirk being able to bring to life some of the talent that they have, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Kyle Pitts, Drake, just like all the guys that Darnell Mooney, just a lot of talent on that roster, and he kind of makes it come to life, and playing good team football, playing the style of football I like to see too. Just they have the run game, that they're continuing to try, and their pass game, they have nuance to the stuff they do. So defensively, just a group that takes pride in playing physical, playing together, and they show up. They show up angry at the ball, and that's in the secondary as well as up front. So a really good challenge for us.
Forgetting what to do. There we go. It took me a moment, but I'm back. So, to me, what was funny? And I played this clip early this week as I was getting things ready. To hear a guy kind of calmly and see some positive guy talk about they come by the ball. The way he talked about them being violent.
Oh, yeah.
The Falcons, their defense being violent. I thought it was kind of funny.
Well, I mean,
just the tone
their
of like.
rush defense isn't great, so Chuba's going to eat today, I think.
You think Chuba's going to eat today?
I think he should. They're in the bottom half of the league, 25th or lower in rush defense. I think you'll probably get into it later with the graphics, but I think they were 26th or 27th with the rush defense.
Okay, all right. So there was our head coach, Dave Canales, talking about this Falcons matchup and some of the challenges that they present. He did name quite a few weapons for that Atlanta Falcons team on the offensive side.
Well, if you want to look, to last Thursday night, Kirk Cousins threw for 500 yards, and he had 5 receivers have 65 receiving yards or more last week. Five. You had Drake London with 154, Darnell Mooney with 105, Kyle Pitts with 88, Kadarrell Hodge with 67, and Ray McLeod, former Panther, with 66 yards. So it was a monster game.
Yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot. So we might have a shootout today.
Let's,
To have a change. I'm getting ahead of myself, but
it would be crazy if Kirk Cousins did this type of work again this week. So let's just hope that doesn't happen. Kirk Cousins will play fine. He'll play well. They'll most likely beat the Panthers, but we don't need to see another 500-yard game on our home turf. We don't need to see that at all.
all right. Let's go ahead and we also get into that locker room during the week to get you guys some good content. One of our favorite guys, Xavier Legette. Had a chance to get him on camera as well this week. We'll check out what Xavier had to say right now.
Oh, man, I'm just doing what Coach tells me to do. That's what he want me to do. That's what I'm follow his lead.
What are some of your early impressions of Jalen, him stepping in there late in the game and, just having another solid performance a week after you did as a rookie too?
Man, I'll say, man, Jalen Coker, he been a guy that been making those same kind of plays. I think he going to be the guy, one of those guys that's going to play in this league a long time.
All right, check, and we're back. So I just love his accent.
Oh,
I didn't even pay attention to you, right? So I'm good. You guys can laugh at me here. I kind of zoned out. I got to play this clip one more time because I really didn't listen. So here we go, one more time.
Oh, man, I'm just doing what Coach tells me to do. That's what he want me to do. That's what I'm follow his lead.
What are some of your early impressions of Jalen, him stepping in there late in the game and, just having another solid performance a week after you did as a rookie too?
Man, I'll say, man, Jalen Coker, he been a guy that been making those same kind of plays. I think he going to be the guy, one of those guys that's going to play in this league a long time.
So there you go. He was talking about, hey, I'm just doing what the coaches tell me. And I like the way he
Southern
said it.
charm.
Yeah, I'm just doing what the coach
Sounds
tells
like
me.
a coach from Waterboy. That type of accent.
But he also talked about a guy that I want to touch on a little bit here. Rashad, I'm going to beat him up for being late. I can't beat him up. He donates his time to us, so I appreciate it. But Jalen Coker's a guy that I know Rashad's been high on. He was definitely their standout guy last week, leading the team in yards, receptions, and even the longest play from scrimmage. I think it was about 31 yards that he had there. Any thoughts on Jalen Coker? And, he talked about, yeah, he's he could be a good guy for him.
After only having, I think, 1 target on the year, because I think he was active for 2 games with 1 target, 4 targets, 4 catches, 68 yards. So he definitely showed out last week. So hoping to see much of the same, but also Xavier Legette, 1 target, 1 catch, 8 yards last week. That was a first-round pick. We need to get some production out of that. So really, I just want to see production from all the guys. Jalen Coker, though, was a great help last week, and did show out the rookie from Holy Cross. 4 for 4, baby. He looked good.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right, so that's the offensive side. Now, the Falcons, let's go ahead and go on the defensive side where we have Coach Evero talking about this Atlanta Falcons offense.
Well, the one thing that strikes my brain when I first watch these guys is just execution. These guys, they execute at a high level in the run game and the pass game. And, Raheem Morris is a mentor of mine, somebody that I respect as much as anybody in this profession, a great, great, great coach. And Zach Robinson, I was with him in L.A., and so I know these guys very well and just know the type of people they are, the type of coaches they are, how they're going to have their teams ready to play. And so no surprise what we're seeing on film in terms of what this offense is doing. But, they execute at a high level. The quarterback, obviously, Kirk has got a lot of experience. He's got a lot of production over his career. He plays as the position as well as anybody in this league. And so we all know that. We all understand that. And it's going to be a great challenge for us on Sunday.
All right, so there you have it. There is Evero talking about this Atlanta Falcons team. Lots of weapons. But, we're going to go to a live cut-in to the stadium.
Oh,
so
awesome. Let's get it.
We got our guy that's ready to give us a little live preview, and here we go. This is currently the action on the field right now.
There's Patrick.
We got Bryce Young warming up. I'm going to turn down there we go. I'll turn that down a little bit. But we're working on some things. You guys said that you wanted to see it, so we're showing you a little live look in on the field as the Carolina Panthers are just about, we're about 2 hours before kickoff. And right now we don't have too many guys out on the field. We got Bryce going through doing his thing. We got some security out there. Yeah.
Beautiful day for some ball.
It is definitely a beautiful day for some ball. I don't know what the weather is currently, but I think it's probably about 80 degrees out. We got some nice shade.
78 right now
78.
and sunny, Chris. We're living life.
And sunny right now, and we got the uniforms that everybody's looking forward to seeing. I'm going to stay on for about another 15 seconds to see if we can get somebody walking by. I don't think we're going to have anybody in uniform at this point because we're so far out from the game. But there we go. We'll end on this shot right here. Is that our guy, Bryce? That is our guy, Bryce Young, our backup QB, getting his thing on. So thank you very much for that live look
Very
in.
expensive.
Oh, we'll stay for another second. He's double dribbling. That's a double dribble. No, that's double dribble. Thank you so much for that live look in. Let's go back to our camera here. Hey, did you like that?
That was cool.
You didn't know that was coming, did you?
I didn't know. I didn't know Patrick was going to give us a live look. We love it.
Yeah, so we tried it. It was a couple of weeks ago. I asked you guys if you wanted to see some live look-ins, and there we go. We were able to do it right there. And I just got breaking news. Breaking news. Rashad is minutes away.
Minutes.
Rashad is minutes away. So that
Minutes away. We're going to have to talk about Jalen Coker again.
we will have to talk about Jalen Coker again. Let's go ahead and so we just played the video from Evero talking about the offense for the Atlanta Falcons and the weapons. You kind of touched on it earlier with Kirk Cousins and his 500-plus yards and how he spread the ball around. I'm going to share something else with you guys about this Falcons team. Kirk Cousins is a guy that is known to start out fast and score on his opening drive. So this was something that I just discovered today as I was getting ready for this game, was this stat. I forget the exact number. Mike can find it here in a second, or my great co-host will help me look for it in the notes here. But Andy Dalton and Kirk Cousins are both tied for second in the league for opening score drives. So scoring fast, which is something that we all talk about. All the players say it's a great thing. It gets you going for the game. They're both tied for second. How many games have they had?
44.
44 games that between Andy and Kirk Cousins have scored on their opening drive. So that's great. And we'll play a little trivia. Do you guys have any guesses? I was going to ask you. I can't ask you.
No, I know. I'm looking right now.
Sorry.
Here, let's look at chat real quick.
But do you guys have any guesses on who leads the league all time in opening drive scores? Who leads the league in
Andy
opening
Dalton, Kirk Cousins at 44.
drive scores? And I'm going to give you a second because I'm really curious if people are going to have some good guesses at this.
Let's see.
Let's see. I know it's about a 30-second delay. So if you didn't know, this might be a tough question, but I'm trying to give the people a chance. If you didn't know, who would you guess?
So if we're
Or
talking
what
about
number
Andy
would you
Dalton,
guess? Which one? Either one.
I probably would have guessed like mid-50s. I know the number. It's a little lower than mid-50s, but I
Yeah.
probably would have guessed right around the mid-50s.
Yeah.
Let's see, is Chet gotten there yet?
We haven't got any guess. I do want at least one guess. And we need a little bit more power in this light, please.
All right, should we tell him?
All right. Well, I'm going to give them one more second to guess. So, I would guess Tom Brady would be the number one guy. He's
That
not.
is true. Well, I thought this was an active list, though. Was this active list?
That's probably yeah. It's an active list, so I can't guess. But that's where I would have.
Joe Flacco would have been a good guess.
Joe Flacco?
Joe Flacco's still in the business.
Okay, I'm going to peek and
There's
see if Rashad's coming. He's not coming. We'll save for him. Go ahead, tell him.
Aaron Rodgers with 50.
Hey, Ron.
Yes, sir. Good company. Kirk Cousins, Andy Dalton, and Aaron Rodgers like to start fast.
There we go. All right, so we're going to continue to move through this. Our favorite part of the show is when the band's coming. But also, again, this is our segment. We'll take a look back. So in the locker room this week, we had a chance to get Xavier Leggett on the offensive side. We got our head coach, Dave Canales. We got Ivero on the defensive side. And we also had a chance to get our rookie, Trevin Wallace, who's been having himself a great season in the locker room as well.
Like everybody's like, oh, you had 50 plus tackles for this. I was like, yeah, that's good, but like Coach Canales was saying, can you do it another game? Can you keep going over and over again? Yeah, that was one game, but I didn't show that I can do it over and over again. You know, be more consistent. Like he go around the ball every time, like stuff like that.
What'd you learn about yourself in that position and being in that position last week?
I learned a lot. I learned like, okay, like I can pick it up quick. Like I can go out there and like they trust me of giving them defense and that people like rely on me. Like I learned that a lot.
Now, as you look at Atlanta, you know, they're going to want you to do the same again and lead the defense. What do you see from the Falcons and what you guys are going to have to face this week?
Everything. They got a great running back. They got a savvy veteran quarterback. They got great receivers and a great tight end. So, and a great offensive line. You know, so you just got to go out there and be fundamental sound. Everybody one. You know, we can't have like everybody on like different pages. Just one because you know they're a good team. If you watch film, most of their games they have big plays all around. So you just got to go out there and be like fundamental sound with everybody on the defense side of the ball.
Oh, no, did he say if you watch their games, what do you see? A bunch of big plays. That is trouble. That is troubling. And the reason I say that is very troubling is because our team is known for giving away consecutive possessions. And it's like once you start, you know that you're probably going to rattle off 3 or 4 the first time that they score. That's just been what's happening to our team this year. And they got some weapons to do it. As you mentioned, Kirk Cousins, you touched on it earlier with the 500 yards. Bijan Robinson has been doing it. And their trio, now of course, when you have 500 yards from everybody from last week, that's a wide receiver, is going to be doing good with having some good yards. But their trio with Drake London, with Mooney, and with Ray, as you know, anytime you lead the Carolina Panthers, it's gonna probably be good. So Ray, former Carolina Panthers.
What we saw last week, DJ Moore, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Over 100 yards receiving.
Yeah, so they do have a lot of weapons, and you got to be concerned about that. What were your thoughts, Brian, on Trevin last week in Chicago? I think he tied the record for a rookie with tackles. I believe the number was 15 or 16.
Yeah.
I forget the exact number.
15 and 10 solo tackles. I mean, it was a great spark. I think the defense needed that, and with all the injuries that we've seen with the Carolina Panthers this year. So 15 total tackles and 10 solo after 3 combined tackles in the past 2 games. So definitely stepping up when we need it, when we're missing that veteran presence in an injury-ridden season so far on.
Yeah, that's right. So, and you know, it almost got overlooked in terms of his production.
That's fair.
Because what happened, like, he had the 4th down stop. Yeah, he was flying all over the place. But when you start having, I forget the final score was
36 to 10.
30, yeah, so when you have a final score of 36 to 10, you lose by 26 points. I don't care what you saw on a defensive guy's performance. You just kind of forget about it. Like, man, we need a lot of help on that defensive side, and we will talk about that. Injuries has certainly been a big part of that. And let's do this right here. Let's give some applause.
Oh, look who it
Let's
is.
cue the sound effect. Some applause. Some horns. We're going to give a second for our camera guy to get some adjustments going here. Get him centered. And once he does, let's we got to get a little bit more centered there. There's a whole lot of space to my side. We're going the wrong way. There you go. That's right there. And then squeeze in a little bit, and then make sure that the camera is straight, because now you got us needing a V8. We're a little crooked. So you want to use the lever to make sure that you get us straight and not crooked. And then you want to, if you could, you guys live TV. So we got more people working, which is good, but now you get to hear me talk to our production guy to line us up. So you want to zoom in just a little bit and get it centered, because Brian is not centered. There you go, zoom in just a tad bit more. I'm gonna let you hold my mic for a second. I'm gonna help us out.
I got 2 mics now.
Well, so Jalen Coker has been on our radar for a while, and obviously with the cosign of Steve Smith, that doesn't do nothing but elevate the stock, right? So when we were able to get him as an undrafted guy, we were excited. And I believe we were one of the first folks to have him on our show. We interviewed him first, and so we got him on, and it was great. Really, really good guy. And so, again, what we saw last week was awesome. He's a good route runner, big, not the fastest guy. You want me to stop?
So we'll go ahead,
okay,
and we'll step to the side and let the band go by, as they always do, because we cannot hear anything. That is the part of the show where we allow the percussion to take over. Every week they find their great spot to do that. But Jalen Coker, you were talking about some of the accolades and expectations for Jalen.
Yeah, no, so Jalen Coker, again, last week was great. Led the team in receiving. He showed off some of his ability. He's big. He's a really, really excellent route runner. That's the thing about him. That's what Steve Smith deemed him as the best route runner in the draft class last draft class. So he showed that off, broke some ankles. Not the fastest guy in the world, but was able to get get free in open space. I think you're going to see more of that from him. He has the ability, just needs the reps. Obviously stacked behind that group of wide receivers, and obviously got the opportunity because Adam Thielen got injured, and so he stepped right up. And I expect that from him moving forward. If given the opportunity, I think he's going to do nothing but get better and better. And so, I think he's going to be solid moving forward.
So we got the Adam Thielen continuation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's exactly he is exactly what Adam Thielen is, right? He's a good, solid route runner, can win in the slot. That's what you need from Jalen Coker, and I think that's what he does. And I think he can really be that contingency plan after Adam Thielen is gone.
So let's go ahead, and we got to give some mentions and shout outs to our super chats. Independent media, 100% supported by you guys. So anytime we get these super chats, we want to make sure we give you a little special sound effect and also some acknowledgement here. There you go. Let's see, did I play it?
Super chat.
There we go. And we got to play it one more time. I can't see my mouse. We got to play it one more time.
Right.
Here we go. Here we go.
Super chat.
So we're getting some light adjustments going on here. I noticed that it was too bright, so we're getting some good. And then raise it up just a little bit if you can, but that's good otherwise, and then come over to me. Anyway, let's go ahead and give some shout outs to the super chats from K, Knucklehead K. Like, comment, subscribe, become a member. So yes, that's important. Like, subscribe, in that order. Like it, subscribe, and become a member. It's help support us. We appreciate you very much. And then the other message was from Knucklehead K. I think you might know who that is. But they said, tell Shad, Coke Boys all day.
Coke
Man,
Boys,
big
yes.
smile.
Coke Boys, we in the building. Yeah, we deemed that the Coke Boys. That's what we got, Jalen Coker.
And I know my co-host Brian's going to get mad, but I need you to keep stepping back up, man. You keep fading between us here a little bit. But let's go ahead and continue to work through the show. Where were we?
Transactions.
Transactions.
That's where we need to be.
All right, let's go ahead and go get into these transactions. Sounds like you're ready for it. I keep losing my mouse, but I found it. Let's go for the transaction.
Yes, sir. So signed outside linebacker Marquise Haynes, senior to active roster, and the boy's back. You know who he is. Tight end Ian Thomas back from injury reserve. Placed center Austin Colbert on injury reserve. Also activated our defensive tackle TJ Smith, standard elevation, and offensive lineman Brandon Wallen to standard elevation.
Yeah, so these guys here, I'm going to talk about them a little bit. So we signed Marquise Haynes to the active roster. Any thoughts? I got some, but I'll throw to you if you have any, or Rashad.
Yeah, so Marquise obviously is a friend of the team. He's been around for a minute. Was on his couch for a little bit and got the call, obviously, because the Carolina Panthers have zero pass rush. And Marquise Haynes is a pass rush specialist. When you need a third down pass rusher, I think Marquise can jump in and maybe potentially get some pressure. Last week, man, Caleb was, it was, come on. Like, we just got to do better. We got to do better. So we called up Marquise, and hopefully Marquise can help out with something. I know it's not the guys that are not the pass rusher that everybody wants. You're not going to get an elite pass rusher at this point in the season, so you got to get what you can get.
We can't
it's not happening. That's not how it works, unfortunately. You got to get what you can get, and I do think Marquise can provide something. Now, he's been on his couch for a little bit, so I question whether he's going to be in game shape. We'll find out. I think he is active, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll jump to the active list just after we get through this. You know, here's my thought when I saw that he was activated to the 53-man roster. Man, this league is rough, especially if you're working under Dan Morgan, because I feel like I thought that he would have been an elevation versus a signing. So I feel like maybe they actively signed him so they can have more guys available for today, which means on Monday we may have some transactions that Marquise Haynes has been waived by the Carolina Panthers, especially if he gets a sack today, because that is definitely the trend of if you get a sack, you're going to be out. But him being from on the streets, a couple of days, it's been a week on the practice squad, and now he's on the 53. Just to let you guys know, from my observation, don't count on Marquise Haynes being on the active roster too long. I think it was just a numbers game. They were trying to get him out there. And let's see, I think I had a comment on another transaction before we move to the inactives. Are the inactives out yet?
No, I'll
check
keep
that.
searching them right now.
So Ian Thomas, as he mentioned, Austin Corbett, they waited a while to put him on injured reserve, and we have the other. We got some help on the defensive and offensive line with those transactions. So,
quick comment on Ian Thomas. I know he's not everybody's favorite tight end from a receiving standpoint, but I think he will help out in the run game, right? Yeah. And is that a Bears water?
It is.
Jeez.
What are you doing? You brought that. You got week-old bottled water Bears.
Hey, why you got to say a week old, man?
Because it's a week old. I know.
I just opened it.
It's so week old. You got it last week.
I got questions.
So let me go ahead.
Why were you holding on to that for so long, huh?
I feel like Rashad is about to
you
jump
like
on
Bears
me.
water?
So allow me to explain. If you guys know, I often get a little parched doing the show. Wow, look at him laughing.
He's angry.
He is. He's like.
It just caught me off guard. Like the water you pull out is of all flavors of water.
Bear down.
You pulled a Bears water out. But go ahead. Tell the people why you have a Bears water in your bag.
So last week I was in Chicago in the press box, and some stadiums have labeled water, which David Tepper, you may want to get some, because in your press box we do not have Carolina Panthers water.
Just the Dasani.
Just right, but in Las Vegas, it was Raiders branded water that we were drinking.
So are you collecting these waters?
So
is that what you're doing?
What happens is, because I know I often need some water, I'll grab a few before the game ends, put them in my bag, so that should I need some water, I have nobody to run and get me any water, I can reach into my bag and get it. So that is thus the reason for the Deja Blue Chicago Bears water.
Get that off the screen.
I'll have to. I'll tape it up next time.
They did win today, so that's. Maybe that's why you're drinking for some sort of win. You gotta celebrate some win.
Yes. Sorry.
But my apologies.
No, my apologies.
So just going back to Ian Thomas again, not everybody's favorite tight end, but I do think he'll help out in the run game, from a blocking standpoint. We all know he's a very solid run blocker, and if we absolutely decide to run the football as we should, Chuba should see some at least 25 carries. I would like to see that. If we decide to run the football, I think Ian Thomas can help out with the run game. So I know this, again, not flashy, but I do think he'll help.
Hey, Rashad, one thing I was waiting for you to get here on, and again, thank you for coming. Rashad comes whenever he can come. He donates his time to us, so we really appreciate it. Earlier, we revealed a little stat about Kirk Cousins and Andy Dalton being two guys in the league that actually are second among active players with opening drive scores. Would you have a guess as to who the number one person is? Opening drive scores active player.
Aaron Rodgers, because I was listening.
Oh, okay. He was listening. Aaron Rodgers. All right, let's
I
continue.
shouldn't have said anything.
Nah, you're an honest guy. That's why we like you. He's an honest guy.
I try.
Transactions aren't out yet, I assume. So if not, let's go ahead
waiting on that.
and take a look at, get us up to date with these teams, how they prepared last week as they get ready to play this week.
Well, last week we looked a little rough. Finished up 1-4 after falling to the Chicago Bears, 36-10 at Soldier Field. As we
got the water, we know where we were last week because of the water.
The water.
The water. That's how they say it down there. Or up there, excuse me. So this is going to mark the team's second divisional matchup of the season. After falling to the New Orleans Saints in Week 1, where the Panthers also scored 10 points. That's the third time now we've seen 10 or fewer points. So every week we ask for a competitive game, and we hardly ever get it. So let's not get our hopes up, boys. So Atlanta comes to Carolina atop the NFC South with back-to-back wins and interdivision victories. Falcons 3-2, 2-0 in the division after an absolute barn burner last Thursday night against Tampa Bay Bucks, 36-30 in overtime. Now this is going to mark the 59th matchup between the two clubs. You guys want to take a guess at the overall record? I'll give you a couple seconds.
We'll always give Rashad a guess.
I do not know. I typically do, but I got to be honest. I'm a little checked out, man. It's hard to follow Panthers football, so I'm not going to guess this. I do know Atlanta leads, but I don't know what the record.
That's all we want.
Yeah,
Leads.
that's correct. Yeah. That's a good educated guess.
And in the
Always
past,
bet against the Panthers.
and in the past 4 years, I think it's been that we might have won once against the Falcons in the past 4 years.
Well, currently it's Falcons lead the series 36-22 all time,
Okay.
and the Falcons, they like playing here. They have the edge in Carolina. And this was also going to be wearing the black helmets today. I'm excited about that. That needs to become a homestead. I like the black helmets.
Standard.
We also need some of those. We need this blue more. We need that blue more. We only get those like 2 to 3 times a year.
I will say this: we're going to look great. Whether we lose, win, we're going to look the best in the league. If that counted as a stat, we'd be at the top of the league in something at least.
Of looking good. Hey, nothing wrong. Deion said it best. Look good, play. I forget the exact words.
I hope so.
All right, so let's go ahead and continue to get you ready for this game. Well, let's look at some of the stats and how these teams fare across the league as a whole. First, looking at the offensive side. And this is something that you got to say, man, Dave Canales, you've been talking about it. I hope that you continue to leverage it a little bit more. And you could say, well, the score has dictated this, but we are currently 10th in the league in rushing yards per attempt, and that is after a horrendous start with those first 2 games. Andy Dalton stepped in game 3. We've been able to do very good with rushing, 4.7 yards per game. Sacks allowed, this offensive line, that's an indication of how good our offensive line has been doing, with 12 overall in the season, 13th overall. And then, I like to say you can glance at those Falcons stats if you want, but we're mostly looking at these Carolina Panthers stats. Any comments from you guys on those stats from the offensive side?
I'm looking at sacks allowed on both sides. Offensive line, obviously we got some issues, some replacements there at center and right tackle. I'm a little concerned there. I know that the Falcons, I know we're going to switch over to defense in a second, but I know the Falcons don't have the best pass rush, but they're not allowing many sacks at all either. So it's going to be very interesting to watch how the trenches work on both sides of the football.
How you feel about Brady? How you feel about Brady stepping in at
yeah, I'm concerned. I mean, just as Canales was concerned last week, I asked the question on my show, should Bryce start the day? Since you were so concerned that Andy Dalton. I'm just asking the question because he brought it up. He said, Andy, I don't. Let's get him out the game because I don't know how he's going to fare behind this patchwork offensive line.
I just littered.
You did. I saw that. But Canales said it. So with Nijman at right tackle, Christensen at center, I don't know how this offensive line is going to fare. So I have some concerns. Will we see Bryce Young again?
All right. So we'll get to the inactive.
There you go. She got you.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, thank you very much. I did not litter. What are you talking about, man?
Oh, that sucks.
We got
That's
people.
not fun.
Hey, you got slow down. You mind if I sit that there? Is that a problem?
Get that Bears water out.
Man, I can't.
I'll hold it.
No, I'm going to sit it down. So let's go ahead and talk on the other side of the ball. We're going to look at these defensive stats here. As we got some, let's rushing yards allowed per attempt. We actually,
today.
Well, this is for the Panthers. Our defense is 11, so we do a good job of stopping the run, kind of, sort of. But on the other side, we're giving up 371 yards, good for 28 out of 32. And actually, if you just want to go to the biggest stat, in my opinion, of this game for our defense and why we lose, Brian touched on this earlier, points allowed per game. Doesn't matter what all those other stats are. Honestly, if that stat there is as bad as it is, we are 32 out of 32 allowing just over 30 points, 33 points per game. So that has to get better. We have reasons why that defense is as bad as it is. But we'll say that for a second. These guys are telling me that the Inactives are out. So this is the part of the show where these guys get to talk about whatever they want long enough for me to get that list on the screen.
Can we keep the discussion on the defensive stats here because our offense in theory should be able to put up some points. There is actually, looking at these numbers, there's actually a pass rush worse than ours, and I couldn't imagine that. The Falcons' pass rush is worse than ours, which should help out that patchwork offensive line. So, I just talked about Christensen. I talked about Nijman at right tackle. I mean, should we be able to survive a little bit today with the way that pass rush is set up? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to watch.
We're going to get some points in the end zone this time around. I mean, again, I think it was around 130 yards per game that the Falcons allow on the ground. So I think
run the dang ball.
Literally. So, I mean, what did we have last week? It was Chuba 13, 97 yards, 7.5 yards per carry, and a touchdown. Still not getting enough carries if he's running the ball with that consistency.
Chuba Hubbard, 13 carries is unacceptable.
Yeah.
The way he was running in that Bears game, for him to only have 13 carries is a disgrace. I just got to call it what it is. Chuba Hubbard, if he does not have 25-plus yards, you, sir, should be asking him a question about why he's not running the football enough, and we deserve a better answer.
Guys, he averages...
Deal? 25 carries.
I got you.
25 carries. If Chuba doesn't get 25 carries, we need some accountability here.
His 68 carries on the year, nearly 400 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaging close to 6 yards a carry.
He's doing his job. Chuba Hubbard is doing his job. He needs more touches. He needs more carries. Get him the dang ball.
Let's go ahead and take a look at these inactives for today.
Right, yeah.
Thank you guys, as always, for carrying the show so well while I get this graphic on the screen.
Inactives. All right, outside linebackers, Javian Clowney.
Sucks.
Yep. Cornerback, Shamir Bartholomew. Linebacker, Josie Jewell. Center, Andrew Ram. Guard, Jared Kingston. Right tackle, Taylor Moton. And tight end, Tommy Trumbull.
Very good pronunciation today.
Oh,
That's a
you.
good
I
job.
appreciate it.
One more time for the people in the back. One more
Most of the
time.
names stayed the same list as last week, my guy, really. Except Javian's on, well, I mean, yeah, it's literally the same list, guys. Again, Javian Clowney, Shamir Bartholomew, linebacker Josie Jewell, center Andrew Ram, guard Jared Kingston, right tackle Taylor Moton, tight end Tommy Trumbull.
So we've already been decimated by injuries. That's not a news flash for today. Clowney being out is just kind of something you were starting to get the feeling about anyway. He's an older guy, hadn't been practicing all week, and you had the Marquise Haynes, not elevation, but signed to the roster, and then you got some other activities going there on the defensive side. So Ivero talked earlier about the weapons. We talked about the weapons that the Falcons team have today. They have a lot from their running, like all over. Their skill positions are pretty fair. So what does that mean for us today? I'm just going to say for me, as you said, Chuba running the ball, right? So we talked also about both of these quarterbacks being able to have fast starts. I feel like if we, the first possession played out however it needs to be played out, whether that's running the ball, whether that's throwing the ball, like they have that scripted anyway. But certainly, if you're able to score on that first possession, the Carolina Panthers, go Steve Wilkes on us, please. Go old school and just say, I don't want to roll the dice to see if we can be lucky enough to have our defense play a good game today, if we can be lucky enough for Kirk Cousins throws some interceptions. Just slow the game down because who was it earlier I played the clip from? Trevin Wallace said that this Atlanta Falcons offense, they get big plays. They get big chunk plays, which could happen quick and you're just going down the field. This Carolina Panthers team, every single week, maybe there's a week that there's an exception, but 9 possessions in a row in New Orleans. Like 4 out of 5 possessions, like they give the opposing team, they score the first time, and you can count on there being 4 to 5 more scores, whether they're field goals or whether they're touchdowns. But it happens every time. It's like the dam breaks and they score. So knowing that happens to your team, all these analytics and smart people that they have on their staff, that should be known and say, hey, if we score first, let's just try to play the slow it down game because our defense is banged up.
It's a great point. Time of possession. You got to keep Kirk Cousins and them off the field. Like you said, they score fast. They score in bunches. They're putting up a lot of points per game, and we just don't have the horses on defense to keep up. So you have to play. This goes back into running the football with Chuba. Milk the clock, extend those drives, get a first down after first down after first down. Take those nice 5 to 7 minute drives. Take your time, score. Their defense is not that great. You should be able to do whatever you want and just take your time and score. And that's bottom line. It should be a time possession battle won by the Carolina Panthers. If that happens, I think we got a really good chance to win this game.
All right, and I'm still saving that little. I got some humors. I guess not as funny as the Bears water. That's the humor of the show. But I got a good story I want to share with you guys. We've got about 15 minutes left. Notable connections. We kind of touched on them already.
Yeah, so Ray McLeod III, former Carolina Panther.
God darn Ray.
Ray.
Yeah, he had he was one of the 5 players who had over 65 or more receiving yards last week with the 500 yards Kirk Cousins had. So yeah, Falcons were eaten last week, all of their skill players. And then we have former Falcons Felipe Franks and Charles Harris. Those are our former connections for the day.
All right,
Take overlook the standings. I know Tampa Bay and Tampa Bay and the New Orleans Saints are currently battling out right now. I was just there, 27-24.
Interesting. It's a lot of points.
Yeah. Spencer Rattler holding his own.
Playing better than Bryce.
Baker, yeah. 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
No, I said he's playing better than Bryce.
Yeah, I know. I heard you right.
I thought you were trying to ignore me.
I heard you right. I was changing the subject. But yeah, that game is 11 minutes in the third. New Orleans Saints have a 3-point lead over the Tampa Bay Bucks. So right now they're tied for first. Atlanta and Tampa Bay atop the division. But look, it's all interdivision play today, so those standings are going to get switched around a little bit. So we'll find out. Holler at us after 7. We'll see what's up.
All right, we'll keep working through here.
I think it's just story time now. I think it's story time.
All right, I'll give you a story time. I was checking out some of the comments to make sure that we were good. We had one comment that said the audio is super low, but I need more than one comment that says the audio is super low. It looks good on all of our indicators, so we'll keep rolling through the show. All right, so here's a little intermission, interlude. I don't know, what's it called? A little break? A little refresher? Anyway, you guys are just looking at me like, what is it, Chris? So I told Brian I had a story to tell. It's a little bit therapeutic for me to share it because it's one of those things that you're so mad about, but you're like, let me tell some people because it might be therapeutic. So, back in June, I think it was when the schedule release came out, was about June, and we were all looking to see what?
When we played the Bears?
Students. No way game. When we're going to go to Germany.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Yes, you're right.
When are we going to Germany? Because we got to know we got to get our tickets, we got to get our hotels, we got to get all that stuff, right? So I was one of those people, excited, watched it, and I think within a week of that schedule coming out, I go ahead and get my flight to Germany, right? And I'm like, when I go to Germany, I'm working, so I need nonstop. So that's why I got to get on this quick. When I went to London, I had a layover, and it wasn't bad. And when I went to London, I went up to Philly and then over. So that was a quick layover. It wasn't bad. And then I got a call from American that morning of the game and said, hey, we can switch your flight. And I flew nonstop back. And I was like, this is awesome. I got to do this again. So it got me a nonstop flight to Germany. Well, being the guy that I am, I was double checking all of my itinerary for the rest of the season yesterday, make sure I got everything right, got to get a few more hotels booked. And then I noticed I'm flying into Frankfurt, Germany.
Oh, not Munich.
Yeah, I'm flying into Frankfurt. I have a nonstop flight from Charlotte to Frankfurt, Germany. And, you know, we're just like 30 days, we're less than 30 days now away, so that's why I'm double checking everything. And then I'm like, let's see, where's the game at? And I look, the game's in Munich, Germany.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, maybe this is one of those like big city things like Atlanta and Buckhead, like Seattle and what is it? I forget, I don't know all my geography, but let me just look on the map and see how close these two cities are.
How close are they?
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's about to be a bad one, isn't it?
It's like the distance from Atlanta and Charlotte.
Oh.
It's not too bad. You should take the train, get on the scenic, you know what I mean? That's not bad.
So it's not too bad, but guess what? We're here in America, so travel between Atlanta and Charlotte we're kind of comfortable with.
Right.
Get the car, drive down. But, you know, when I go over there, I'm going to have bags, multiple bags, so I'm going to be over there for 4 days. And you don't want to, like, it's hard enough, like, carrying your baggage to, like, go from an airplane to, like, security and customs. And so, yeah, that's my story of the day is just yesterday I discovered that I will be flying into Frankfurt. It will cost me 3 times what I purchased the ticket for to make a change, so I will not be making any changes. So I'm gonna do a little
how are we doing this? Do we have a rental car?
You got to get on the train. Get on the train, man. Take the train.
So the train is what I'm looking at for that day, because I get there like maybe 10 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. So taking the train over, that's not bad. But there's lots of trouble. I may need Tepper to lend me some mode of transportation for getting back, because the game actually takes place 9:30 Eastern. You know what time that is, Germany? Because you're going.
I am going, but I do not know what time it is over there.
That's about 3 o'clock Germany time. Okay. Game day coverage for me takes about 6 hours. So that means about 9, 10 o'clock I'm going to be done. And now I got a flight that leaves the next morning at 10 in the morning, and I got a 4-hour.
Sleep on the train.
Is your hotel at least booked in Munich, not Frankfurt?
My hotel is booked in the proper city.
Okay, good.
But getting back, I still don't know how I'm going to get back, because it's like, I'm not a morning. I don't want to get up at like 2 o'clock in the morning. It kills me to pay like $200, $300 a night for a room to sleep there for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's just an utter waste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's.
So yeah, I did book my flights. So I booked my flights this week. I'm going to the UK for. I got a long layover in the UK, so I'll be spending some time there. Then I'll be going into Munich. So it's good stuff. And I got a direct flight back, which is, I'm with you on that, because I don't want any layovers coming back.
Yeah, because you already got that adjustment for the time, and now then to have. So that's my story. I'll be backpacking across Europe in a couple of weeks.
Get some good content.
You gotta. Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta document this.
Now he likes to step out.
Now that you said it, you gotta document this, and we need to know every step of the way. You need a vlog. You gotta vlog this. Vlog this.
Here's the challenge with that. Again, I'm gonna have lots of bags, and I'm not gonna be knowing where I'm going.
That's the best part.
And so then to have a camera out.
It's the best part. You gotta share. You gotta share.
Sharing is caring. All right, let's get back on track. There's your little story. So we're going to talk a little bit about our offense and their defense. And actually, here's something I want to share. We got some fines to report that happened last week. Fines for the Carolina Panthers last week, and I think some of them are hilarious. So J.C. Horn got into a little altercation last week towards the end of the game. He said he shouldn't have done it, but hey, he got punched in the back of the head too, I think, right?
Yeah, he did.
I don't know what that player was, but anyway, J.C. Horn got fined last week for his action in that fight for basically $12,000. DJ Johnson I guess he was part of that scuffle.
He was.
All right, so he got fined basically.
That's his greatest contribution as a Carolina Panther was sticking up for J.C. Horn.
He got fined $7,000 last week. The Bears met prior, got fined $7,000 basically, all for their roles in that little skirmish. That's pretty low since he got hit in the back of the head and only got half what J.C. Horn got. What's up with that? And then here's the weird one. The biggest fine of all was to tight end Tommy Tremble, who is currently out with a concussion. And the play that he got fined on, he suffered a concussion. He was fined almost $18,000 for that hit. So that's a head scratcher. But those were some
I don't think it's head scratcher at all. Like he dropped his helmet.
You're an offensive guy though. Like
yeah, but
offensive guys, you can run the ball.
He caused that though. If he doesn't drop his helmet, that's a clean hit. He dropped his helmet literally into where the defender was going. That's on him. You got to.
So offensive guys can't lower their head.
No, you can't. You literally can't. That's a flat. Like you're not supposed to do that.
Like spearing, I guess. That's
yeah, you can't. You cannot
spearing?
drop your helmet. Just like a defensive player can't spear themselves in the you can't do that as an offensive player either. So I understand it's not a head scratch. I watched the play and
$18,000.
I called it as it happened. I said he kamikazed himself. Like he literally sacrificed himself, and he did. I mean that's what he did. Yeah. He literally dropped his head and caused that play himself. So that's on him.
You don't think they could have been a little nice, at least with the dollar amount, to say, hey, you got a concussion. You probably learned your lesson.
I know. I think
we'll fine you,
stupid.
But let's give you a $5,000 fine. Like, why?
You got to be safe, man. You got to be safe both ways. That's not protecting him or the defensive player. It goes both ways. Just being honest.
Hey, and hey, that's why we have a panel of three, right? I like to point that out each and every week. All of us can have our different opinions, and for you guys to enjoy and be entertained as we get you ready for this Carolina Panthers matchup. Already talked about the Chuba Hubbard a little bit, but I got one clip that we're going to talk about Chuba a little bit more. Here's Andy Dalton on Chuba Hubbard. I don't have it loaded, so let me get it loaded up pretty quick. Brian, if you want to share your headphones with Rashad, that would be great, but I think I lost the clip. Let's see. All right, here we go. So Andy Dalton on Chuba Hubbard.
Chuba's unique because he's a guy that everything's really important to him. This game, how he goes about the recovery aspect, getting his body right, to studying film and making sure he's knowing everything from not only the run game but the pass game too, protections and everything. And I feel like he's a special player and a guy that you can look at and be like, that's an example of how we want to do things. And I think that has allowed him to have the type of year that he's having so far, and we need to keep going with him because he's doing a lot of really good things.
So that was our guy, Andy Dalton, on Chuba Hubbard, talking about the success he's having and how he's earned it. You guys can go ahead and comment on that as you soak that in.
Yeah, I was going to say, with Chuba, man, this is something that we haven't seen from many players on the Carolina Panthers roster, and that's called development. When you see,
you said development. Okay.
Yeah, when you see guys like Derek Brown who got better year over year over year, that's development. Chuba Hubbard, better. He's on the jugs machine all the time. Development. We need more of that all across the board. We're not getting enough of it. And so to see Chuba, man, we were very critical of Chuba, including myself.
Yeah. Chuba deserved all the – I think he said it, though. He deserved all the criticism that he got.
Yeah, so he, like, even with his hands, he had brick hands. He had bricks for hands, and so he just got better and better and better. His vision's gotten better. His burst has gotten better. He's just gotten better and better. And so it's just good to see, man. Good to see from him. Kudos to him. I know it's a contract year. I just hope that energy continues because, guys prep for that contract year. They play great for that contract year, and then after that, kind of go back downhill after you get the bag. So hopefully it continues, man. Shout out to Chuba, though, for real.
Yeah, and I forget who it was, but he talked about how Chuba's running style, like he's patient. He'll wait for that hole to I think Canales a few times earlier this week talked about his style of running and how some guys are just used to get the ball and just go, and it takes another skill set to kind of wait for things to develop, and how they coach the line and the running backs, and Chuba plays that perfectly. Brian, you have any thoughts on Chuba? And as Rashad mentioned, he's in a contract year. Do you think this Carolina Panthers team, Dan Morgan, are they going to bring him back? Dave has talked highly of him.
I mean, he's making me eat my words at least, because I've been very critical over the years. I didn't see any really type of development or leap until this year. I mean, if you go through his numbers in his first 4 years, 3.6 yards per carry, 4.9, but he only had 95 carries in that year, and then 3.8 yards per carry last year on 240 carries. He was really, when he was getting the carries, he was never touching over 4 yards a carry, like a consistent basis. And this year, he's getting 6 yards per carry. So I think he's going to get paid. Keep in mind also he is 25, so it's something to keep in mind too with running backs. But I mean, he's playing like he deserves to get paid, and I mean, we just need to keep giving him the ball. He's not getting enough carries. He's 15th in the league in carries.
Yeah, and I was going to say really quick with Chuba, one interesting thing that if you watch his next-gen stats, you look at all his charts, and this is kudos to the offensive line too because it all works together. The man is rarely getting tackled for a loss. Each time you hand him the football, he's like an automatic 5 yards. Like, I don't understand how we're getting away from the run game. And again, if he does not see 25 carries today, Canales really needs to be held accountable for why that's not happening.
Let's go ahead and talk about this Atlanta Falcons team. Coming in really hot. We touched on it earlier, over 500 yards, overtime winner. So they got a lot of momentum that they can be coming into this game with. And again, we're banged up on our defensive side. Any thoughts from you two about stopping this Atlanta Falcons offense today?
I mean, the Falcons might do it themselves if they don't give Bijan Robinson the ball. For some reason, they don't like to give him carries. He only had 12 last week for 60 yards. And I mean, it just depends. It depends if they're going to feed their playmakers. Because, I mean, Drake London's going to see the ball. So is Ray McLeod, and I feel like Darnell Mooney as well. But other than that, I mean, it just depends. You have Tyler Allegra and Bijan Robinson. They could run it down our throat with Bijan Robinson, but they're kind of like us, similar. They don't know when to give their running backs the ball. They don't really like to feed their running backs, even though they're giving them outstanding production.
All right. We'll go ahead and wrap on up here. Let me see if there's a few comments. We've got just a few minutes left on this. See if we've got some comments here that we can get on before we get out of here. We're pretty much at our time for the day, about to get in here. Let's see. Chance Hines says, what's up? What's going on? What you think for tuning in? DJ Vibes says, keep pounding. A lot of these comments were earlier, so hopefully you guys are still staying around. Darrell, keep pounding. Ali Bodrick says, welcome back, fellas. I hope the Panthers can redeem themselves from last week. Last week, we talked about on the way up to the game today, it's a 17-week season. It's a long season. And I know as Panthers fans, anytime you see a slip, you're going to be like, oh, here we go again. I'm not saying you shouldn't feel like that because we've been a bad team for quite a long time. But my hope is that knowing it's a 17-week season, you're not going to have Andy Dalton and everybody just play perfectly every single way. This is his third week, and last week in Chicago was really that first bad game, right? So I'm hoping that we'll get a chance to see the offense return back to their normal selves, back to Andy Dalton getting near or above 300 yards, Deontay Johnson being back involved, as well as the other weapons continue to evolve with Xavier Leggett. Why do people pick on Jonathan Mingo
so much? I'll just keep. If you don't have anything nice to say, you just keep it to yourself.
Okay, so
I'll leave it
keep
at
it to
that.
himself. But yeah, Mingo does do some interesting things, but hopefully we can continue to see those guys develop. But my hope, and I want to get you guys' opinion too as we go to wrap up here. My hope for today, I'm not going to do any predictions. I don't know if you guys heard I did a prediction last week in Chicago. The trip to Chicago was going well, and I was feeling good. I was just feeling this energy. So I said I had a prediction. I think I might have said something like 30-20. I might have even said 30-10, and it completely flipped. And I don't like to do predictions, but I was feeling good about the trip. I'm not going to give you a score prediction. You guys are welcome to do so. But go ahead and share thoughts about the game today. Brian?
I think points are going to be scored today. I don't want to give a prediction. You know what? Screw it.
You can give a win or loss.
A win or loss? No, I just think points are going to be scored today. I couldn't tell you win or loss. Mostly, I'm probably going to lean loss. I think Kirk Cousins is just going to get better throughout the season. Last week he was phenomenal. I think he's going to take advantage of the defense, the lackluster of that defense, and with all the injuries that we have. But I want to say the Panthers will keep it competitive this week just because Atlanta's defense isn't isn't going to keep up either. They haven't kept up against other teams. So I think points will be scored, but at the end of the day, I think the Panthers will probably fall in this matchup as well, go 1-5.
Did you throw in a score?
I did not throw in a
Okay,
score.
I'm not going to force you to. I just want to make sure I heard it.
points.
Okay, points will be scored.
Yeah, I think Atlanta's defense is not the Bears' defense. So, Andy Dalton played some softer defense, saw some success. So offensively, I do think we get it back on the right side of good. But defensively, I just don't know that we'll have enough to slow down Kirk Cousins and them. Man, they've got a lot of firepower on offense. The communication in the secondary has not been good all season, and so this is the worst game to have those type of mistakes because Kirk Cousins is a vet. He's gonna pick us apart. So I don't think we win this game, which is unfortunate, man. I had zero motivation to even attend this game. Not really excited about it, to be honest with you, because this is, they may not realize it and they may not look at us as a rival, but this is our most hated rival, right? And for them, but they don't address us as such. The Saints are their biggest rivals, right? So we're getting overlooked, and we gotta slap somebody in the face. Like we gotta come out here and really put our foot down. And I don't know if that's gonna happen. I just don't think defensively. I don't think we have the pass rush to get at Cousins to make him get uncomfortable. I know he's not Caleb Williams by any means. He can't move like Caleb. So we'll see if we can get after the statue, but. I don't know, man. I got low expectations. I'm going for, I don't know score, but I go Falcons winning this game.
I'm really hoping that the plan for Marquise Haynes is very situational, and I'm really hoping that they're prepared to say, he gets out there and he's like, bent over, that we got a rotation in place because, man, I just got this feeling like, well, I don't have this feeling, but I don't want to see him just looking like he's getting circles ran around him today because he's out of shape and we don't have another guy that we feel confident enough to put in there for him. This guy's only been here 2 weeks at this point, and he didn't quite make it the first time they came and tried out. So for him to be with the team now, I feel like they're just trying to get as much as they can on the team. So that'll wrap us up. Lots of good questions, lots of good content. We appreciate everybody that tuned in and watched us today. Rashad, how do people keep up with you? Going to do a post-game show? What you got today?
Yeah, we'll be doing a post-game show after the game, going live. We'll see what type of Rashad you get. Those get pretty interesting sometimes, so just tune in.
And Brian will be keeping you guys up to date with everything that happens doing Twitter. So please, during the game, follow us, jump on Twitter. We'll give you all the updates. Player injuries, I often get those before they can get them to you on TV. As well as we will have the best photographer in the NFL. He's already on the field getting shots now that you guys will be able to look at during the game. So please head over to Twitter, see all those photos, and I'll be in the press box as well. Approximately 1 hour, it usually is after the game. Yep. We're able to make it down on the field and give you our live post-game show. Minus this guy, because he goes unfiltered after the game, which, is cool.
Can't get on the field.
Can't get on the field. And we got to end with a super chat. Airsoft is going to end us with a super chat. Us winning would be nice, but I doubt it. Yeah, that's true. Hey, for Rashad of Panther Nation Podcast, I want to have Brian Gallagher. I'm Chris Jenkins. See you after the game.